Hello and welcome to our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Circle on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on policy coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, has warned that the president will sack ministers who fail to perform their duties. Usman said Tinubu is poised to deliver on his promise of making life better and easier for Nigerians. The presidential aide issued the warning at the opening of the technical retreat for delivery desk officers of federal ministries on implementation of presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital. Usman called for the total commitment of delivery officers and directors of planning in ministries who were present at the retreat, admonishing them to get serious with their jobs. In the wake of the prevailing bloodletting in the country, Vice President Kashim Shettima has reminded Nigerians that ending insecurity in the nation remained the cardinal agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Shettima spoke at the opening of a two-day roundtable on insecurity in northern Nigeria with the theme Multi-Dimensional Approach to Tackling Insecurity in Northern Nigeria, organized by the Coalition of Northern Group CNG in Abuja. His declaration got the buy-in of the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, who expressed confidence that the battle against insecurity could be won. Shettima, who was represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Senator Ibrahim Hassan, assured Nigerians that the federal government was not relenting in tackling insecurity in the nation and called for collaborative efforts in taming the menace. The federal government, through the Ministry of Interior, has disclosed its readiness to transform citizenship management and business administration in Nigeria. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, on Thursday in Abuja, made this known during the unveiling of a new handbook on citizenship administration in Nigeria. He noted that if the provisions of the document are followed, it would help develop the country. The handbook prescribed conditions for the acquisition of citizenship by foreigners and citizens born outside Nigeria by Nigerian parents, among others. It also prescribes conditions for citizenship by investment, amongst which is evidence of the required amount for investment pegged at a minimum of $1 million United States dollars. Governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, has said people of the state should expect accelerated growth and development with the legal battles challenging his elections now over. Fubara stated this during a statewide broadcast on Friday morning following the affirmation of his electoral victory by the Supreme Court of Nigeria on Thursday. While expressing gratitude to God for emerging victorious, Fubara dedicated his victory to God and the good people of Rivers State. He reflected that the litigation experience was a torturous journey that had now validated the choice and eventually confirmed the mandate freely given to him by the electorate. The Supreme Court on Friday dismissed an appeal by the former member of the House of Representatives, Farouk Lawan, against the judgment of the lower court which imprisoned him. A federal high court in the Federal Capital Territory has sentenced Lawan to 7 years imprisonment for receiving $500,000 bribe while serving as chairman of the House Ad Hoc Committee investigating the fuel subsidy fraud in 2012. The trial judge, Angela Otaluka, held that Lawan demanded $3 million and received $500,000 from Femi Otedola in 2012 to remove Otedola's oil company, Zenon Oil and Gas, from the list of firms indicted for fraud in the subsidy regime. She also held that Lawan was guilty of all 3 counts of corruption and bribery. Not satisfied, Lawan approached the appellate court where his jail term was reduced from 7 to 5 years. Lagos State has mulled the idea of establishing an airline for passenger operations just as the state prepares to commence the construction of its own airport in Lekki. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed the plan on Thursday at the Lagos West Senatorial District People's Town Hall meeting, where he rendered stewardship and presented a catalogue of achievements recorded by the administration in the district. A statement by the state government noted that a former permanent secretary and retired Auditor General for local government in Lagos, Mohammed Hassan, noted that the state was ripe to own an airline. In his response, Sanwo-Olu noted that the plan had been in the pipeline for months, with the state already finalizing financing model for the project. What is being considered, the governor said, is the federal government's approval and operational contingency for the airline. The Nigerian Customs Service Tinkan Island Command said it intercepted cocaine, arms and ammunition worth 4.3 billion naira. The Comptroller General of the Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, disclosed this while addressing journalists during the handing over of the seized contraband at the command on Thursday. Adeniyi said that the seized contraband came from South Africa and Canada. He added that the command also intercepted Colorado Indica weighing 32.5 kilograms. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have demanded to see the death certificate of a former director of Legal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Grace Tega. Tega's lawyers, Daniel Alumon, had on November 4, 2023, informed the Federal Capital Territory High Court that his client had died. Tega is standing trial before Justice Olukayode Adeniyi on allegations bordering on bribery in the controversial gas supply processing agreement between Process and Industrial Development and the Federal Government of Nigeria. The EFCC claimed that she violated various laws by entering into agreement with the approval of the Federal Executive Council and without obtaining a certificate of no objection to the contract from the Bureau of Public Enterprise. The National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says the recent publication claiming that paracetamol drugs in Nigeria are underdosed is fake. The Director General of the NAFDAC, Mojisola Adeyeye, had stated in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria on Thursday that there is nothing wrong with the paracetamol and that the publication is fake. Adeyeye said that the publication was a disservice to Nigeria, adding that academic publications need to be more responsive to issues of public health. A 2023 study with samples from 5 paracetamol brands claiming to contain 500 milligram paracetamol as its active ingredient were said to have been tested and analyzed using the spectrophotometric method. Adeyeye, however, said the findings have shown that the said publication has been retracted. The NAFDAC boss, who cautioned against playing on the intelligence of Nigerians, enjoined all Nigerians to use paracetamol. Chairman CEO of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, and the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, in the person of Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, have commended the synergy between the two law enforcement agencies, saying that the collaboration is a strong warning to drug cartels that they will continue to lose their investment in the criminal trade. The duo spoke at the Tinkan Seaport in Lagos when the Customs CG led his team to hand over illicit drugs seized during a joint examination by NDLEA, Customs and other security agencies of containers, and the Anti-Narcotic Agency had been tracking based on credible intelligence from international partners. In his remark, Marwa, who was represented by the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, said the handing over of the seized illicit drugs is a development that speaks volume about the diligence of security agencies tasked with securing the nation. The Defense Headquarters in Abuja said on Thursday that no fewer than 94 terrorists were killed by troops in various operations conducted across the northern part of the country between January 17 and 25th. It said the operations led to the arrest of 171 terrorists in the north, as well as 43 suspected oil thieves, and the recovery of 485 million naira worth of crude oil in the south-south. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward, disclosed this in Abuja on Thursday while briefing journalists on the activities of troops within the period under review. The Defense Headquarters says the military has deployed its special forces to conduct targeted operations across the country as part of a renewed response to tackle the menace of insurgency, kidnapping, and other security threats. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this at a news conference in Abuja on Thursday on the operations of the armed forces. Buba said the military was conscious of the apprehension occasioned by kidnappings, particularly with recent events recorded in the Federal Capital Territory and other areas. Buba added that the military has constantly required its operational strategies to adopt the best course of the action that would guarantee success. In the interest and well-being of the lives and properties of people in northern Nigeria, the coalition of northern groups and the leaders of organized a two-day roundtable conference to tackle the prevailing challenges of insecurity in northern part of the country. Queen Agaba has the rest of the story.
Must move from the conference rooms to the communities also if we need to have an effective and successful fight against insecurity. It is evident that the long fight against insecurity, particularly in the northern parts of the country, has also created what many scholars are referring to as the war economy. And the major participants in this war economy, regrettably, are also those who are supposed to lead the fight against insecurity, the armed forces.
Global Television will bring you more details in our subsequent bulletin. The Police Service Commission PLC has approved the appointment of new officers and the promotion of the 1,897 senior officers to their next substantive ranks. The head of press and public relations of the commission, Ikechukwu Ani, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja. He said the commission approved the appointment of Dasuki Galadanchi, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 12, Bauchi, as a Deputy Inspector General of Police to represent the Northwest geopolitical zone of the country. The commission promoted 14 commissioners of police to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police, 21 deputy commissioners to police, 2 commissioners of police, assistant commissioners to police, to deputy commissioners of police, and 109 chief superintendent of police to assistant commissioner of police. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says all is set for the Akoko North East and Akoko Northwest Federal Constituency election, scheduled for February 3rd in Ondo State. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Olutoyin Babalola, said in Akure that non-sensitive materials had been received from the INEC headquarters and sent to the 2 local government areas. Babalola, who spoke on the sideline of a 2-day training for supervisory presiding officers, SPOs, at the INEC office in Akure, said adequate number of bimodal voter accreditation system machines had been configured for the election to hold in 329 polling units. You're watching News Cycle on coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, up to 50% of poultry farmers in Nigeria have closed their shops. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of the News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On the foreign scene, China's Vice Foreign Minister met his North Korean counterpart in Pyongyang on Friday, with the nuclear-armed state accelerating its weapons testing and threats towards Seoul in recent months. Beijing is North Korea's biggest economic benefactor and a traditional ally, and the leader Kim Jong-un has sought to show up his country's relationship with China while intensifying his aggressive rhetoric towards the South. The weapons test and Kim's designation of Seoul earlier this month as a North principal enemy has raised the tensions in the region and led South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol to pull closer to long-standing ally Washington. The United States has also warned of growing and dangerous military ties between Pyongyang and Moscow and called on Beijing to restrain the North. The southern U.S. State of Alabama on Thursday put to death a convicted murderer using nitrogen gas, the first time the controversial method criticized by human rights advocates has been used in the country. Kenneth Eugene Smith was pronounced dead at 8:25 p.m. according to the state attorney general. Smith, 58, was on the death row for more than 3 decades after being convicted of the 1988 murder of a pastor's wife. He was put to death at the Homan prison in Atmore, Alabama by nitrogen hypoxia, which involved pumping nitrogen gas into a face mask, causing him to suffocate. The International Court of Justice will on Friday rule on the provision request from South Africa in the case accusing Israel of genocide in Gaza. Both countries presented their argument at the ICJ on 10th and 11th January, where South Africa's lawyers said Israel and its agencies are intentional about wiping out entire families in Gaza. Responding to South Africa, Israel said it was acting in self-defense and blamed Hamas for the woes of the people in the Gaza Strip. South Africa also requested the court to approve provisional measures to protect against further severe and irreparable harm to the rights of the Palestinian people under the Genocide Convention. The European Union (EU) has said it will invest 18 million euros to fund vaccine research in Nigeria. The head of the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Samuela Isopi, disclosed this in Abuja at the presentation of the National Plan for Vaccine Research and Development and Local Production 2024 to 2034. The plan was developed by the International The plan, I beg your pardon, the plan was developed by the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development with support from the EU and Bulgarian government. SOP, who was represented by Professor Leila Matthew, said that the EU was aligned with the nation's priorities, adding that the development of the plan was timely and could not come at a better moment. She said that the Minister of State for Health was also taking the plan to the highest level with the EU to discuss other parts of it. Let's turn to business. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has constructed a 150 million liters storage facility for Port Harcourt Refining Company ahead of full operations of the plants. The company stated on Wednesday it was sad that the storage facility was constructed in Atlas Cove, adding that the company had signed build, operate and transfer agreements for the rehabilitation of pipelines and storage facilities nationwide. The National Oil Company revealed that its retail arm distributed about 14 billion liters of white products in 2023. The company further stated that an aviation arm had been created that would supply fuel to 3 international carriers, adding that more airlines would be served in due course. The Poultry Association of Nigeria, PAN, expressed distress over the closure of more than 50% of its farms in 2023, attributing the shutdown to sectorial challenges. Mojid Ishola, chairman of the PAN Lagos State chapter, reviewed this during an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria in Lagos on Thursday. Ishola highlighted that the poultry farmers faced difficulties in meeting the increasing demand for poultry products due to the closure of a significant portion of their farms. According to Ishola, sustained government interventions at all levels, particularly in subsidizing the feed inputs, are essential for the prosperity of the sector. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is investigating at least $347 billion allocated to companies in Nigeria between January 2014 and June 2023. This came as the fresh findings show that the Anti-Graft Agency has extended its forest allocation probe to include some foreign firms operating in Nigeria. However, the Central Bank of Nigeria data revealed that local and foreign companies in Nigeria got at least $347.49 billion from the Apex Bank to service their foreign exchange needs and obligations within the 10-year period. And wrapping it up, the National Bureau of Statistics has said the Nigerian Railway Corporation generated 1.49 billion naira in revenue from passengers in third quarter of 2023. This is contained in the NBS rail transportation data for third quarter and fourth quarter 2023, released Thursday in Abuja. The figure increased by 108.25% compared to 715.09 million naira generated in the third quarter of 2022. Similarly, 286.78 million naira was collected in third quarter of 2023 as revenue from goods and cargo. This increased by 181.58% from 101.84 million naira received in the third quarter of 2022. And that's how we currently wrap on the news cycle. I am Anthony Momodi saying good afternoon and thank you for watching.